So many of us tend to be very loyal to the cities that we grew up in. We all like to think that the city that we grew up as a child is the best city in the country. Now, Houston has been my home for the past 18 years, and I deeply believe it is the best city in the country. Houston is a city that has spread to become a very pinnacle city in our country because of business, sports, and so many other things. Now, my roommates at A&M like to tell me that Dallas is superior because the better weather, closer to the mountains, and more importantly, they like to tell me that having a hockey team is really important for some reason. Now, while Dallas was a force to be reckoned with back in the 1800s because of the stockyards and the meat market and all of that, that doesn't really matter today anymore. The Houston Ship Channel, infamous sports teams, NASA, and much more drive the energy of the city and the citizens. Now, to begin actually diving into the topic of why Houston is a better city than Dallas, I'm going to start with the business and the economy. Now, Houston is home to multiple Fortune 500 companies and have multiple more than Dallas. A lot of the energy companies like ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, and BHP now have their headquarters in the Woodlands, which is a suburb of Houston. Even according to the U.S. Census Bureau figures, the city of Dallas has been losing population at an astonishing rate. In the last 7 years, over 30,000 people have left, and now there's only about 800,000 left. Now this is important because this shows that Dallas is actually shrinking while Houston is rising to great numbers that are growing even more today. And with jobs, Houston is by far the fastest growing city in the country. According to Texas Monthly, Houston has added almost 700,000 jobs since 2005. Now, this doesn't just stop with the Houston Medical Center or the Ship Channel, the Houston Port. This also has to go into the Houston Symphony, the Houston Ballet, and so many other things that us Houstonians get to enjoy that Dallas people simply don't. Now, it's also very nice to be very close to the coast. Now, even though we get Galveston, there are nicer beaches down closer to Corpus Christi. Being close to the coast also helps with jobs. There are so many refineries in Baytown and in the bays and also offshore that do help Houston with more jobs. The port is also number one in imports and number one in exports in the entire country, and actually ranks as the 10th largest port in the world. Now onto the sports teams. My Dallas friends, like I said, like to talk about how the hockey team and how they're amazing, but I honestly don't care. We live in the South. Now football, Dallas Cowboys used to have us beat because they were called the Boys or America's team. Well, America's team never makes the playoffs, so I'm not really sure why that even matters. And especially when my roommates like to tell me how good the baseball team is, or the Rangers in Dallas, it doesn't even come close to the Houston Astros. We were able to win a championship 2 years ago, and they were in that position in 2012 and didn't even come close. Now on to my favorite part, the culture that Houston has is just absolutely unmatched. We have icons like Beyonce, famous rappers like Travis Scott, old dudes like Patrick Swayze that dance like no other, and even ZZ Top, just an old guy's band. Now, why the culture is so important to me is that the matter of the culture in Houston is how Houston gets put over the top by cities like Dallas, San Antonio, and even dirty cities like Austin. Houston has a fully functioning symphony, a touring quality professional ballet company, and a world-renowned opera that twice in the last 2 years has even beaten out New York. Now, why this is so important is because this represents the diversity of my city. Because there are so many different famous people that come out from different backgrounds, rich, poor, black, Latino, white, it doesn't matter what you are, Houston is a great place to do that because the people of Houston, no matter your race or your skin color, gather around one another to put you forward. Now, to end the speech, I think one of my favorite things as a kid was the Natural Fine Arts Museum and Science Museum. I was a little nerd when I was a kid, and I was asking my roommates, well, did y'all grow up going to school trips and field trips, going on school trips to the Museum of Natural Fine Arts to see all the pretty gems, all the dinosaur bones, and even Cleopatra? And they all said they never got to experience any of that. And so that also just comes to show that even as a child, I was given a better education and whatnot through living in Houston. Thank you.
5 minutes exactly. Oh,